Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. I just wanted to say to anyone who is a subscriber, thank you for subscribing to my channel after watching my first video. It makes my heart so happy. I really honestly was only expecting to get maybe 2 free views off of the first video, and the fact that it is now sitting at over 100 really makes my heart happy, and I'm so extremely grateful to anyone that watched that video and decided to subscribe. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot. If you haven't watched my first video, I really appreciate it if you go back and give that one a little watch. It's only about 20 minutes long and it is the newbie booktube tag, so it would give you a lovely little introduction to who I am. I'll do a quick little introduction here. My name is Rebecca. I run a blog where I talk about books. I also have a book talk account. I have an Instagram account where I talk about books, and I have decided recently that I want to start taking that more and more seriously and share my love of books with the world. So I'd really appreciate it if you could give me some support, either by subscribing here or following one of my other accounts. It would really mean the world to me. For today's video, I am going to be sharing a little bookshelf tour. I have never ever done this, so I don't know what to expect, but we'll see how it goes. I do have to do it really quickly because I'm filming on my iPhone and it doesn't have a lot of storage because I hoard pictures just as much as I hoard books, and I can't delete any pictures of my cat to film this video. I'm really sorry, but my cat and books are like, they're constantly fighting for my attention, so I can't show favoritism to one over the other. So I'll try and do this as quickly as I can. I do apologise if it comes off a little bit rushed, but we'll see what happens. We'll do our best. Before I start my little tour, I do want to talk about where my book collection started, because I've been collecting books ever since I was a little girl. Back when I first got my own room, which was a cupboard. It was just a glorified cupboard. It was painted hot pink and I loved it. So back then I had like a shelf above my bed, and I was terrified that the shelf was going to fall on top of me because it had so many books and art supplies on it. It kind of sagged in the middle, if I remember correctly. It had a distinct sag in the middle. Probably not the safest, but we made do with what we had back then, and you know, it was a good lesson to learn. So that was where my collection started. I can't even remember really what books were on that. After that though, when I moved, I did get my own room that was an actual room this time, and I did have a Billy bookcase there that was one of the smaller ones, one of the 3 feet ones. I filled that up very quickly. So when I moved here, I think for my first Christmas, I got gifted a 6'7" Billy bookshelf, which again I filled up really quickly. It got to the point where there was books on the floor, there was books on the windowsill, there was books coming out of my ears, honest to goodness. I got gifted this bookshelf for this Christmas just there. So now I have 2 6'7" Billy bookshelves, and it still doesn't feel like enough. Thankfully there's no more books cluttered everywhere, but there's only a few gaps left on these bookshelves, so it's gonna get back to that very soon. I'm really bad for not being able to stop buying books. There's a lot in these that I haven't read, so maybe a challenge that I'll have coming up soon is to try and tackle my physical TBR. It's a very daunting challenge, but maybe we'll see. If you want to see that, comment down below. Now I do get most of my books from places like The Works, Waterstones, Amazon. I do try to shop small bookshops, but there's not a lot that have my taste in books where I stay. If I travel a bit, I can find some, but it's not always accessible for me to be travelling all the time when I want a new book. However, because I can't shop local, I do support my local library quite a bit. I constantly have books out from the library. I'm there a couple times a week at least, if not to look at books, to study. I'm big supporter of libraries, so if you're also a big supporter of libraries, you'll love my account. Now my library books don't end up on these bookshelves, and I don't like leaving them cluttered around, so what I made for myself was these little baskets where I can store my library books, keep them separate from my actual books, and then I know where they are and what their current status is. For example, This is my library TBR box. It has 7 books in it at the moment, which is not a lot. Normally I have 12 out. I'm normally the kind of person that I will literally return a book and then get another book. Like, I constantly have 12 out, so having 7 out at the minute is actually really good for me. I do have one at the library waiting to be picked up that I'm going to try and pick up this afternoon, but the fact that I only have 7 out at the minute is quite an achievement for me, and I deserve a wee pat on the back for that. But when my books are waiting to be read, this is the box that they sit in, and then when they are finished, they go into the library returns box. The book is finished, it gets put in here, and then in here I have my bag. It is just a Hogwarts bag that I picked up in Edinburgh. It has a little zip on the inside that perfectly fits my library card, so that's why it is my library bag. So they'll go in the box, and then when I'm ready I just put them in the bag and I take them back to the library and I come home with more. So that is how I keep my library books separate from my actual books, and there's no confusion, everything's safe. And then I'm not hunting about looking for a library book when it's due back, because I'm like, oh, it's either in the box or it's in my hand. There's never a time where I don't have a book within reach of me, like no matter what I'm doing. Even if I'm like sitting studying, I will still take my book to sit next to me just because I can. There's always a book within like 2 feet of me, so it's fine. Currently on my shelves I have 280-ish books, give or take a few, which I don't think is a lot. I actually thought I had a bigger collection than that, so I'm a little bit disappointed in myself, and I think that will be rectified very soon. I do have a few on the bottom shelves that I will be selling soon. I just want to give them one more read before I'm like, okay, bye, because I've had them for so long and I'm not that interested in reading them anymore. I do have some in a pile in the corner that are ready to go because they are duplicates that I've accidentally got, so they will be going on my Vinted or to a charity shop very, very soon. I also have some books that are not mine on this shelf. They are my partner's. We just keep them on the shelf just so they're organised and so we know where they are. He's not as big of a reader as I am, so there's not that many. It's probably like 5 or 6 books on a shelf, but I'll point them out when I get to it. For now though, let's get into the tour. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down, so let me just adjust the camera. So I'm going to show the first 3 shelves, and then I'll change the camera and I'll show you the rest, just because this is the best way I can get the camera angle without you being right up at my face. Let's get started. So on this first shelf up here is my Harry Potter and my classic shelf. I have a lot of cloth-bound classics. My special edition Gryffindor book is hiding some of them because my Vanity Fair book is really old, and I think I've had my Vanity Fair one maybe like 6-7 years, and it has a stain on it. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from and I can't get it off, so this just kind of covers that up. Vanity Fair and Little Women were the first cloth-bound covers that I ever got, so they are my oldest and most loved ones. May not look like it from where they are on the shelf, but I promise I adore them. I also have my Harry Potter collection with the Hogwarts classics, and then behind my special edition Ravenclaw book I have my very nice Jacqueline Wilson's. This is my most read Jacqueline Wilson. This is a signed Jacqueline Wilson, but I won't show it off because I didn't get it signed. My teacher's daughter did when I was in high school, and she just outgrew Jacqueline Wilson, was looking for somewhere to give them, and my teacher thought I'd really appreciate them, and I do. I still have it to this day, even though it's not addressed to me. It has Jacqueline Wilson's signature in it, and that makes me so happy. But this Emerald Star is one of my most read Jacqueline Wilson books because I love the Hetty Feather series. I've reread it a ton. I actually really want to reread it again, but as you can see, the book is looking a little bit worse for wear. The pages are all fine. I just had some beef against dust jackets growing up, and I still kind of do. I don't really like them. I think it ruins the aesthetic of the book. But hardbacks are my favourite. And I used to bin the dust jackets, which is why it has no dust jacket. I've since learnt my lesson, and I do keep my dust jackets now, even though they're not my favourite. That is that shelf with my little Harry Potter Funkos. Over here is more of my hardbacks that I love. So we have Cersei, Song of Achilles. I have my Good Girl Guide to Murder. I do know they're in the wrong order. It's okay, we'll deal with that. I'm just too lazy to change them over. I have Yellowface, I have this last song. This one has a special plastic cover because I got it from a library sale, supposedly. I do not remember buying this from a library sale. There's a good chance someone else bought me it from a library sale, but it is a library that I have grew up local to, so I could have bought it, I could have not bought it, but it's here now. I also have this very beautiful edition of Beauty and the Beast, which is one of my favourite Disney stories. I wonder why. So it has like all these little pop-up things, little things you can play with. Just beautiful, beautiful illustrations. And I love it. It's a very, very, very loved book on my shelf. I have a special edition of Shatter Me, which I haven't read the Shatter Me series yet. I own the books, they're on my shelf further down. The problem is, if a book is really popular online, if it's really popular on TikTok, if it's really popular on YouTube, I will put off reading it because I see everyone else's opinions and I'm like, Okay, so my phone stopped recording because it ran out of storage, which is really annoying because I got through like 4 more shelves before I realised. So we're just gonna have to try again, and fingers crossed I've sorted the issue. I've went through and deleted a ton of stuff. Hopefully I don't have to delete anything else, but we'll see what happens. But I was talking about Shatter Me. So I haven't read the books, I have them on my shelf, but when a book series becomes really popular on TikTok, YouTube, anything like that, it puts me off reading it because I see so many other people talking about it, I see so many other people's opinions on it, I see people sharing quotes and stuff, and it feels too much. It feels like there's too much pressure on me to actually read the series and enjoy it. I feel like if I don't enjoy it, then I'm missing out. So I have really bad like FOMO for that, but I'm going to give Shatter Me a go. I'm going to read it, as well as all the other books on my bookshelf that I haven't read yet, which I will get to. But I do have Shatter Me up there, and behind Shatter Me I do have Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which I haven't read either yet, but for different reasons than Shatter Me. Below that though, I do have the Stolen Heir series. I have Cool Prince with this beautiful, beautiful edition of the book. I love this edition. It doesn't always show up on camera very well, but I do have videos of it on my TikTok and my Instagram of just the beauty that is this cover. Whoever designed this did a wonderful job. I also have the trilogy behind that. I have Wicked next to it. I have Game of Thrones, and then I have 2 of Samantha Shannon books behind this picture of me and my partner. I have read both of them, and I read... Thanks! So I have read the Priority of the Orange Tree, and I have read A Day of Fallen Sun, was it? A Day of Fallen Night. So I read the Orange Tree before A Day of Fallen Night came out, and then I pre-ordered A Day of Fallen Night, and when it arrived, the box it arrived in was really big, and it scared the bejesus out of me because I was like, how big is this book? Thankfully, it wasn't as big as I was expecting it to be from the box. Like, it was like a box. It just had other stuff in it, but I did end up giving it a read, and I really, really enjoyed it. On my shelf, I also have this cute little fairy crown that I love. I got it for £5 at Girls' Day Out, and it has been my Halloween costume a few times now. It will probably be my Halloween costume this year because I love it. I also have little Groot here. I'm a big Marvel fan, if you can't tell from all the other Marvel inspired Funko Pops that are dotted about my bookshelves. I do love a good Marvel movie. On this bookshelf over here, I have more fantasy. I do have A Throne of Glass, which I've read the first couple of books from. I know this still has its plastic covering on it, but that is because I got the books from the library and I enjoyed them enough that I wanted the whole series. I got gifted the book set for my birthday maybe like 3 years ago, and I just haven't got around to reading it. It's a very intimidating series, especially when you think of it because the Sarah J Maas books are all intertwined. So I've got that to read, and then I've also got A Court of Thorn and Roses, and then I have the other series on my iPad to read as well. So it's a lot of books to read. I probably won't be able to do them in one go, but I'm determined that this summer these are getting read. These are on my TBR to get read. I also have the Red Queen series behind Olaf here. He guards this little series. I have also read these from the library, and then I loved them so much that I was like, I need them, so I went on the hunt to get them. I had to go to multiple different stores to try and find them all, and it was a very exciting day. It was very, very funny. Below that, I have my favourite shelf. So this shelf and this shelf are full of my favourites. No matter how I design my bookshelf, it is always around my favourite shelf. I always have this one shelf where all my favourites are on it, and now it's multiplied to 2 because I just have too many favourites. So I have my white edition Twilights here with Spider-Man. These will never ever 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 get read. They are not for reading, they are just pretty to look at. And then I have my OG Twilight books, which have been read many a times. They have like highlights and stuff in them that have faded because I've had the book so long. Like that was originally a bright pink highlight, like, so I underlined it, of course. I also have Delirium over here, I have The Host, I have Dune, I have The Hunger Games behind this adorable picture of my cat. I have read the 3 main Hunger Games books. I haven't read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I haven't read Sunrise and the Reaping. That is another series that I'm going to reread this summer. They're going to get read, they're going to get their time to shine. They're very high up in my TBR, but my TBR is very long, and when you get so many books from the library like I do, it's really hard to stay on top of your TBR and the library books. So I might take a month off the library to try and get through some of my TBR books. Over here is more favourites. I also have this little thing of my cat that I painted, little version of Jacob. So I have the Divergent series here. I have another copy of Dune because I have 2. All in all, I have 3 editions of Dune. I have the purple one here. I have the movie cover over here. So I have the movie cover of Dune here because I absolutely love Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, and when I seen that they were going to be in the cover of the book, I just knew I had to have it. So my original copy is the copy that I have on my Kindle. Then I got this one, and then I found the purple one was coming out, and I had to get the purple one. So I've ended up with all 3. I'm very bad for doing that. I'm very bad for having multiple editions of the one book. I can't stop myself. It's a really bad habit I've picked up. Do I regret anything? No. I also have my Geek Girl series, which is all I've ordered. I feel like this is not the order they're supposed to be in. Because that's the first one and that's the last one. But this is my Geek Girl books and my Gallagher Girl books. These are also very, very loved. They're also very, very worn. This is my the first Gallagher Girl book, and it is pretty much falling apart at the seams. I really, really love those books. I really love rereading them, even though I'm not in the age range they're meant for anymore, but they're still some of my favourites. And then I also have 2 more Ali Carter books over here, The High Society and Blonde Identity, because Ali Carter is one of my favourite authors of all time. I'd love to have The High Society, the whole series, but I only have that one. Really find it hard to find those books now, like they're really hard to get your hands on, so I do only have the one over there. That is the top half of my bookshelf. It is mainly fantasy and some romance dotted about, so I'll change the camera position and I will show you the rest. This is the bottom half of my bookshelf, so as you can see it's not as organised as the top half is, and I will explain that as we go down, but I'll start with these 2 shelves here. So this is mainly my romance books. I have more sports romances over here. I do have my Elsie Silvers over there, which are currently being read, that's why there's one missing, and my Lucy Scores. I'm pretty sure they're out of order as well. I feel like all my series are out of order, which, yeah, sounds about right. I also have these lovely little Eiffel Tower trinkets that I got from my cousin, and I have a little elephant, and I have my Barbie. I just felt like she was really fitting with the romance books, so she's there with my Anna Hangs and my Laura and Asher books. I think Barbie really goes well with Love Unwritten. I don't know, maybe just my personal opinion, but yes, so that is my kind of romance slash sports romance kind of shelf over there. Over here I have more romance and more sports romances. I have this really cute pink teapot here as well, which I love, and this little like plate thing, I don't know, ashtray, I don't actually know what it is, but I used to do face painting, and when I was face painting one day a woman came up and gave me this, and I've kept it ever since, because it was so cute and I loved it. I've also got my special edition of Icebreaker. Behind my special edition of Icebreaker I have the After series by Anna Todd, which again is another series that's still in the plastic film because I haven't gotten around to reading it, and I keep telling myself once I read it I'll watch the movies, so that would, in the hopes it would motivate me to read it more, but it has not happened yet. I also have the Icebreaker series, I have some F1 romances, I have these lovely books by Elena Amez, and I got these all signed when I got to go meet her a couple months ago, so these are all my signed like editions, which are signed to me, which made me so happy. These are the first books I've ever actually gotten signed to me. I have that one signed Jacqueline Wilson up at the very very top, but it's not to me, but these books are all addressed to me, and that makes me so happy, all 4 of them. I also have my Bridgerton books here, so back here with my Bridgerton books I have Belle and my little teapot, which I just felt was so fitting. I'm trying to find the cups to go with that teapot actually, but I cannot find any that match it perfectly. But I will keep looking, it will become part of my shelves. Down on this one is pretty much more random romance. I have more Jacqueline Wilsons, I have some Jomois, I have Perks of Being a Wallflower, Jenny Han, you, see, I also have Roald Dahl and John Green. A lot of these I will probably be rereading and then deciding whether I want to get rid of or keep. A lot of these I just haven't got around to reading yet. This shelf, and this shelf are pretty much just full of books that I think I might be getting rid of soon, or just don't fit anywhere else on my bookshelf, so they're just down here. That's why it's so cluttered. I do have a plan of going through it and trying to really pick out what I do or do not want. It's just really hard because I grow such an attachment to these books, whether I enjoyed them or not. I do grow a really deep attachment to my books. It's very hard for me to let them go. On this shelf I also have my little Minecraft toys that I got from the new Minecraft movie coming out. I got the TNT popcorn box from the Odeon, but it's just not found its way on my shelf yet, so I will be doing a reorganisation of my shelf soon and the TNT will be making an appearance. Let me know if you want to see that happen. I also have my speaker here. It just sits here, I just play music while I'm reading a book, or I'll play an audiobook for the whole. I just put it here, just so I know where it is. Over on this shelf is more fantasy. I've got some poetry at the end. A lot of my like poetry, true crime, those kind of books I do mainly get from the library. I don't have a lot of them on my shelves. People know that I like romance and they know I like fantasy more, so if I'm ever getting gifted a book, that is more likely what they will gift me, which is one of the ways I get most of my books, to be honest. I also just tend to lean to fantasy and romance more, and I'm more obsessed with them. But I have the Shatter Me series, I have behind my bookmarks the Twisted Tales Disney books as well, which I love, which I will not be getting rid of. They're not going anywhere, they're just there. I also have the Inheritance games, which again I love. I just couldn't put them in anywhere else, they just didn't seem to sit nice. I have my other copy of Cersei. I have Bride, which I haven't read yet. I've got The Shadow Between Us, which is a book I'm so split about whether I want to keep or not. I'm in two minds. I'll get to that another day. And then I have more Harry Potter books as well that I just didn't want on the top shelf. I keep my bookmarks on that shelf because it's just right next to my little rocking chair, and I did decorate this little tub myself and I did film it and put it on my TikTok, so if you want to see that it'll be there somewhere. I just got hot glue and went to the works and got some different little accessories to put on it. I think I did a pretty good job for never having done this before. And it looks really really cute, so it just sits there on my bookshelf. Below that I have more random stuff. This is the shelf that has some of my boyfriend's stuff. So these books here are all his, as is The Hobbit. The Roald Dahls are mine, and then there's more like hobby books over there. I've like Taylor Swift books, Taylor Swift puzzle books and things. I have knitting books. So yeah, this is just kind of a random assortment. Like I have like a cupcake book and things like that. So a random assortment of books, and then I have my little baby book with all my baby pictures in it. Over here is my more serious books. It does have my textbooks back here and my like folders, which is what I'm sitting in front of. The rest of these are all like psychology, they're all on autism. I have these two books on how to write essays, which I really need to read right now. What I normally do is I have the book that I'm currently reading, whether it's romance, fantasy, whatever, and then I usually have like a self-help, self-improvement, or a kind of more deep thought provoking book going at the same time, and I'll try to read like 10 pages of that a day. Whether it's something psychological or it is something like self-improvement like Tam Kamara. Buy Yourself the Damn Flowers. This is one I'm currently reading, so this is why it's currently getting tabbed, and it's only half done. So I'm going for that, and I'm highlighting different bits and just trying to like analyse it more thoroughly and look into it in more depth rather than just glancing through it and speeding through it. Just so I only do like about 10 pages of that a day, and then I'll go on to another one. I've recently just done it with Mindset by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. I don't know how you'd say that, I do apologise. That one's not even got as many tabs in this because I feel like the most relevant stuff to me was at the front. There is a lot of highlights in it, but there's not as many tabs. It talks a lot about how to encourage the growth mindset in kids, so a lot of that isn't really relevant for me as I don't have kids and I'm not in a situation where I'm going to be teaching it to kids, but I did still take a lot of it on board to try and learn it myself. But yeah, so I have a lot of social, kind of more psychology books down there, and they're not down the bottom because they're left any list. They're just down the bottom so that they're with my psychology textbooks, and my psychology textbooks are not up the top because if I had them up the top all the time they'd be staring at me and I'd never be able to find peace in the world. So that is my little bookshelf tour. I do apologise if it was so rushed. My camera kept running out of storage and I kept having to go and delete things. I was just getting really frustrated. So it was not ideal. I did try my best to get it all done. There's probably more I could have said. What I am hoping is in a year's time I'll be able to redo this video and it will be better. I'll have better equipment. I can do a longer, more in-depth video and talk through all my books in more detail. I wanted to go through it quickly so you can get an overview of what I'm reading, what I like to read, what I enjoy about books, what I prioritise in books, what's on my shelf, just to get a better idea of what kind of reader I am. Clearly I just like collecting books, because obviously reading books and collecting books are two completely different hobbies that have nothing to do with each other. But yeah, these are my bookshelves, my very, very pretty bookshelves. I am over the next couple months planning on hopefully decorating this little corner a wee bit more, maybe getting another bookshelf. I really want to do, I don't know if I haven't measured it to see if it would work, but I really like the bookshelves that have like the big bookshelves like this and then the slim bookshelves in between them. I think it's so pretty and I'd love to be able to do that just all along this wall and have the whole wall be a wall of bookshelves, and maybe have another comfy chair or two in between. On the other wall I do have my desk, so this just is something I sit and look at all day, these bookshelves. It's very distracting at times. It's very, very distracting. Maybe one day I'll do a whole like little room tour of this baby when it's a bit more cleaned out because that corner is a mess. But that is my bookshelf tour. Again, I do apologise if it was really, really rushed. I hope I didn't come off too frustrated with it. I really need to work on my phone storage, maybe get an external hard drive or something to try and offload these videos onto so that I have more space. That is today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will be posting again next week. What it is, I do not know yet, but if you'd like to stick around and see that, please subscribe, let me know in the comments what you thought, and please, please, please give this video a wee like if you thought it was any good, or if you have any comments for sorting the issue with the storage on my phone. I'd really appreciate any helpful guidance in the comments below. I'll definitely be doing my research over the weekend to try and figure it out. And hopefully next week's video won't be as bad or as difficult to film. I'm still posting to my blog every single day, so if you'd like to see that, the link to my blog will be down in the description, or it will be on my social media accounts. My social media is Rebecca Bryson Books on pretty much everything. So if you want to go give me a wee follow on them to see what I'm up to, please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the fun stuff that tells the algorithm that you really enjoyed this video, and then that can push me out to more viewers, and it means I can do this more often. So I will see you guys next Friday with another video. Thank you, love you, bye!